Hey, I'm Amanda from Trifecta Fitness. We're proud to be Clarksville's new Get Fit headquarters. Trifecta Fitness is a state-of-the-art spin and strength training studio. Our spin studio is truly one of a kind in this area, complete with 20 state-of-the-art live fitness bikes and an incredible sound system. Our strength training is done in small groups of 6 or fewer, and all of our strength and spin classes are scalable for every level of experience. Come see us in the heart of Clarksville, just behind MAPCO at the corner of Old Trenton Road and Wilma Rudolph Boulevard. Call us for more info at 931-542-6265 or download our Trifecta Fitness app for a full list of upcoming classes.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Did you serve in the military? If so, you can obtain a free lifetime pass to more than 2,000 federal recreation sites. These sites are located across more than 400 million acres of public lands, including national parks, wildlife refuges, and forests. The lands host activities to fit any lifestyle: hiking, biking, fishing, camping, and much more. Gold Star families are also eligible for these free lifetime passes. Plus, they cover entrance fees for a driver and all passengers in a car, or up to 3 additional adults at sites that charge per person. Obtaining one is easy. Just go to the National Park Service website, nps.gov, or the National Park Service app.
All right. Welcome back. MisFitNation. We are a show founded by a veteran and hosted by 2 veterans and a military spouse. Our mission is to get people to tell their story to the world. If you're an author, share your tips with the Misfit Nation. If you're a musician or actor, our audience needs to know how they too can get into the business. Coaches, we love our coaches. Come on and share some of your tips with the Misfit Nation to help them become better versions of themselves. If you're a corporate leader or an entrepreneur, come on and share how you did it and how hard you have fought for success. If you're a veteran, first responder, or Gold Star family, we would love to have you come on and just share your story with the Misfit Nation. We always have time for you. If you're feeling down, alone, or starting to see the darkness, stop. Think about those who are around you. You are not alone. You will be missed. If you feel like your problems will be a burden to those in your inner circle or are embarrassed, dial 988. If you are a veteran, take option 1. We need you to keep pushing forward. Don't make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you're a new listener, welcome to the Misfit Nation. Be sure to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast apps and also on our YouTube channel at @_Misfit Nation. Subscribe and click the bell to keep you up to date with our latest episodes and all of our news. You can also find us on Heroes Media Group and About Face Radio. Now, let's get to the show. A beautiful rainy day here in Tennessee. Fall is in the air. It's not 100 degrees no more. We're not sweating, just walking outside. And mowing might stop soon, so that'd be great for me because I do hate mowing grass. But tonight we have an awesome guest coming on. She is the best-selling author of Lessons from the Obstacle Course: 5 Strategies to Conquer the Muddy Fields of Life. She's a speaker, national board certified health and wellness coach who helps people plan for a life of wellness, longevity, and financial security. Taking what she has learned on her own health journey and leveraging her 25 years in finance, she helps individuals develop a wellness strategy that optimizes their time, money, and resources so they can achieve the healthy life they desire without breaking the bank.
following her own wellness strategy has enabled her and her husband, both over 50, to continue to participate in a few obstacle course races each year with their 2 children. So without further ado, let's welcome Kelly Majdan to the Misfit Nation.
Hello, hello.
And there we go. Hello, there we go. And we're having technical problems as usual. Whoa. A lot of glitches right there. Hopefully this is it.
Don't play, stay, stick.
Play. All right, Kelly's here.
That's all right. I'm so glad I'm not the only one who has technical problems.
I was about to start punching it. All right, welcome, Kelly, after a lot of clicks right there.
Quite all right. I swear, technology is like friend and foe.
Definitely, and we were talking about that just before the show, both of us talking about winning and losing to technology. I think I almost lost right there, but we're back on the front side of it.
That's all right. We persevere through. That's what we just keep on trying to do. I think at least too, now people have a little bit more grace for us as we're like, okay, wait a minute. It was working a minute ago.
Something's wrong with them too. All right. So,
it's all right. It's just the evening. We might have had a few drinks. We're okay.
I wish. No.
Yeah, no, I know. I don't even drink anymore, so I can't even say that.
But Kelly, I just gave a little bit about you, just basically your basic bio there. If you could tell the audience a little bit more about you from as far back as you want to go to how we got here, that'd be awesome.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll make it as quick as we can, right? So thanks for the intro. That was great. I appreciate that as well, too. So I like to say I am a recovering financial advisor. I was in the financial services industry for a very, very long time, pretty much grew up in it. And most recently, I was a registered investment advisor that was working with corporate 401k plans. So I say that because that has a big deal with how we got to where we are. But along the journey, we've, of course, my husband and I met in college, and then he was already planning to go through OCS for the Marine Corps. So he went to the Marine Corps. I stayed back and finished off school, and then we did our home of record move out to California in the early 90s. So we've been together ever since. So I think we hit, good Lord, 33 years together now. It's crazy. So fortunately, he was in the Corps through the 90s, through the whole consolidation of everything, and then got out. Anyway, we had our 2 kids in early 2000s, but that brought us up to what happened about 10 years ago. My husband finally admitted to me that he had this thing called he was seeing double, and we found out he had a pineal gland cystic mass sitting in the middle of his brain, causing all sorts of havoc. And that led to brain surgery in 2014, which then led to, as we were both recovering, because as he was recovering from brain surgery, my back went out on me the second time. And some friends introduced me to an obstacle course challenge called the Warrior Dash. Of course, I jump in before I even know what the heck it is. And then I'm like, okay, wait a minute, what is that thing? It sounded fun, but then I'm like, what are we doing? Anyway, while my husband is Frank, and while he could not participate in it at that point in time, he watched us with our 2 little kids as all of the rest of us had a lot of fun. And he's like, that's what I need. And because he was recovering from brain surgery, and we had a few little scares through the whole 4 months that he was in that, that got him going, or at least the obstacle courses got him motivated. Like, you had to have that carrot out there, and that got him motivated. And of course, being a Marine, it had to be something like really challenging that he wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, that started our 10-year. It's now almost a 10-year journey. And in fact, so we haven't done as many as a lot of people out there, but I think we've done more people. I mean, we usually do about 3 to 4 this year we'll do 5. In fact, we're coming up in the Spartan Trifecta weekend, and we'll be leaving tomorrow night to go down and do 3 races in one weekend. So, and our son is coming down from college to come with us, which is really cool. So, but that's what our experience going over the last 10 years doing these obstacle course challenges is why I wrote the book, because what I realized as we were going through the struggles that we had on the course, I realized they really align with all the struggles we have in life. So that's what came up to the book from the lessons off the course. And then with trying to get him back on his health and working with all these people in finance, I financial coach, and I would sit down with folks as well as being an RIA and help them work through their financial questions. I thought, okay, there's got to be a way to marry finance and health. So I went back to school to become a national board certified health and wellness coach. And so this is where I'm at now, and I've now put together a program to help people kind of manage their health, do a wellness plan, and not really manage their finances, but could make sure they're not spending too much money trying to be healthy.
So, and those two things are two things that could make someone's mental capacity, mental breakdowns happen. Physical and fiscal issues in their lives can cause a lot of stress for many people. And if you're helping them with both of them, the only other thing they have to do is keep their mental stability right, and they're almost the trifecta is good.
Yeah, well, there's a lot to it. I mean, when all the years I was working with employees in 401k plans, what I noticed, the two things that really adversely affect all of us in our later years is whether or not we have enough money and how our health is. And those two relate so much, because the unhealthier you are as you move into your later years, the more strain it puts on your finances. And if you don't have your finances together and you don't have your health, then it just really makes for not a good mix for you for later on. I just know there's got to be something. I just want something better for people out there. And we just got to figure out a way to do that. And then, helping my husband along with all of what's been going on with him has helped, because we found out now he has something called Lambert-Eaton myasthenic syndrome, which means he'll be fighting this for the rest of his life. But that's also where the obstacle courses come in.
Did his issues start from being stationed anywhere in the Corps, or is it
no
correlation?
Rich, I think there is a correlation, but we have no proof.
Man.
Yeah.
Was he at Camp Lejeune?
He was, yes, but he wasn't. I think he was there after the whole, I know what's going on with the thing, but he was there afterwards, was it 92 or 93? I think that's after that whole thing. But I don't know. There's probably lots of a deep dark hole. We could probably go down that one sometime. But
that's a whole other show.
that is. But he did go out in 2005 to 2006 as he was because he was a supply officer in the Marine Corps. He was asked to go out and help with force protection, anti-terrorism with a bomb program they had. So he did go out to Iraq 2005, 2006 to help these vans be readiness so we could hopefully bring more of our men and women home because of all the nefarious things that were going on.
Right. So hopefully they can connect the dots and maybe give him the care he needs to move forward and be happy with you and still do mutters with you.
Well, and I think some of the veterans from Frank's standpoint, VA is not an option because we don't know whether it was really caused from that. So we're probably we're some other veterans who've never really, you don't know whether it's a combat thing or not, he wasn't even combat, but don't know whether it stemmed from your time in the Corps or in the services. And now you're in civilian life and you don't know really where it came from. So
I don't want to go off on that.
That's a whole other tangent.
Yeah. That's something we deal with here on the show lots of. All right. So I'll come back.
No. Yeah. Didn't mean to go there. I'm sorry.
It's all right. So after you finish your first, you said the Warrior Dash, right? The Warrior Dash.
Yeah.
That was same time Tough Mudder was going on as well. I believe that's when Warrior Dash started. Did you have that adrenaline pump right then and say, I need to do this more often, or did it take a few more coaching from your friends after that?
Oh no, I was all in. I was all in. I was it was fun. It was something different. And now that we've done so many of them, and in fact, when we did Frank wanted to do one, but we had to get him healthy first because he had blood clots and his after the brain surgery, he also had to go back in for brain swelling and a few other things. So we did our first big one called Conquer the Gauntlet in 2015. And that one was the one where I was just like, oh my gosh, we're going to do this as often as we possibly can, because it challenged me in so many different ways. And it really made me realize that I wasn't as fearless as I thought I was, and I wanted to test that. And I know it sounds silly. Some people are like, okay, I'm done. But for me, and I think for my husband as well too, we just were like, okay, no, wait a minute. We can do this. And I can't believe I was scared, and that's what held me back. I'm like, it wouldn't have held me back before. So I'm going to keep doing it. I've got to push this. But that's been helpful in respect, because it's helped me tap into that mindset off the course as well. And I think that's what's kind of the beauty of some of these races sometimes, is you're putting yourself in a situation where, we're not naturally meant to be, in a way. If you think about it, we've got a pretty darn easy life. And going through these obstacle courses, I think, just helps put you in a different mindset and put you in a different uncomfortable situation. And if you can really tap into that when you're off the course, you can realize you're really just in another uncomfortable situation. And if you can tap into what you used on the course to get through that obstacle, then you could really get through any obstacles you have in life.
Definitely. And I think you showed that when you left the corporate world after 25 years in the financial industry to go out on your own. That's tackling a whole other obstacle, the unknown you jumped into right there. It's like jumping into the electroshock pit that's in those motor races without knowing where it's going to hit you. You jumped out there feet first and kept running forward, and you're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you. I think I have a lot of support. My husband and my family are absolutely fantastic. So, and they're always rah, rah, mom. So I love it. But I think that's important. Whether you have it from your family or whether you have it from your friends, don't listen to those people who, if you have an idea, if you have a way, it's got to be viable, right? You can't just jump off and do nothing, do something that you don't feel like you've got a good business plan to. But if you've got a good business plan, you've got a good direction, and you feel very confident about where you're going, tap into those people who are helpful and supportive to you. And I'm so fortunate. I have some other ladies that we're accountability partners, and we're all working towards the same goal. So we just check in and help each other as we go along. And that's just such an important thing to be able to have.
Definitely is. Having a circle that's good for you is good for the whole team. Once you have that supportive circle within that 5-meter circle of you, that's awesome to have that there. And like you said, have those people cheer you on and not listen to all the naysayers that are out there, because there's people out there that want you to fail, and they'll say it's a nace because they don't want you to do better than what they perceive their own life as being at that time.
Right. Well, it is true. What they call it, the story of the crabs, like the crabs get stuck in the net and everybody tries to pull you down. Right. You need to find the crab that's going to pull you up.
Right. Find that one smart one going the other way.
Right. Exactly. But it's very true. And it's just, it's wonderful when you do find those people. And it's just, I think that's another thing that's and I write about it in the book about collaboration. One of the neatest things about these obstacle course races, and I think, the military has this as well too, which is really cool. Because I remember whenever we were stationed on every base, is the fact that you're an immediate family because you're going through these things together. So we're all crazy. We all signed up for this race, and we're all looking at each other going, what are we doing here? What? Why? But in essence, though, there's always somebody there willing to lend a helping hand. And I just think we lose that sometimes in our real lives.
In 10 days, my wife will run the Marine Corps Marathon. This is the first time she's doing it by herself. Usually we ran together. This year she wants to do it by herself. So I'm going to be the athletic supporter and just be around the course as much as I possibly can to find her and throw stuff through. But she's doing it on her own to prove to herself that she can do it without me being on her side, but being in the shadows, but being on her side and doing it. But she knew that along the training path, she needed us there to help her, to motivate her, to keep her going. And I think she's done a great job over these last 17, 18 weeks of training.
Oh, wow. That is a big one. That's huge. But what a beautiful thing for her to do.
Yes. It's a big triumph for her, and she's nervous, of course, but she'll have 32,000 of her closest friends running with her. That's good for her right there.
Oh, she's going to have so much support, and it's just going to be, I think, the day of the event, she's just going to get swept up with it all. So it's going to be tough, but it'll be awesome. You'll be her pit crew as you go along.
Yeah, I'll throw goo at her.
Yeah, exactly. Or those blocks. I love the blocks. Those cliff blocks or something like that. Those things are awesome.
Yeah, I think that's what they're giving out on the course, actually.
Yeah. No, those are good. I like those. We're going to have plenty of those on our trifecta weekend. That's for sure.
Nice. So your lessons that you've learned on the obstacle course, what lessons have impacted you the most as you've gone through this transformation?
There's a few. There's the one that I think that really got me going and got me wanting to write this book was when there's this obstacle in Conquer the Gauntlet that's called the Continental Divide. And it's almost a 14-foot wall that you kind of in an A-frame, and you climb up the front of it using a rope, and then you climb down the back. Well, the first time we hit this obstacle was in 2015. And unfortunately, after Frank had finally got himself healthy to be there, he actually tore his bicep on the first wall getting into the race. Oh, so we didn't know it till later. It was actually a couple of years later we finally figured out what really happened. But he couldn't climb. So he couldn't climb up the thing. And I went to climb up it, but I got up like halfway up and I was just hanging from the rope, like just with my whole body hanging down. And I had to ease my way down. And I just looked at it, and I looked at him. He looked at me. He's like, "You want to try again?" I'm like, "You're not up there to pull me over." So yeah, no, I'm good. So anyway, so we walked around that, but it really bugged me that it was a shock. That first race was kind of a shock to me on how many things I walked around that I normally would have gone over. And so I think that was also what just pushed me okay, I got to try this again because this isn't right. This isn't me. What's going on? And I was, early 40s. So you're starting to sit there and think, this is how I'm going to live the rest of my life, where I'm not willing to take a chance on things. So the next year he was healthy and he got to the top and he got me over after I got kind of stuck in this chicken wing position. I'm like, "Okay, just pull me over." And he's like, "You sure?" I'm like, "Yes." And I probably said a few curse words. And anyway, so he pulled me over. Then the third year we were there, we went there with our kids, and my daughter was 12 at the time and our son was 15. And my husband and my son are over on the other side running and grabbing the rope and climbing over. I'm like, "Okay, y'all just go over there." So left my daughter and I on the other side to do it ourselves. And she tried first, and then I went up and I got stuck in the same spot, and I came down and we looked at each other and we're like, "Okay, I'll do this again." So I got up and I got to that same chicken wing position, and I'm sitting here going, "Why am I up here? What on God's name do I have to be doing this?" I was having this fight with myself, thinking, this is crazy. And then I hear my daughter's voice below going, "You got this, Mom." And all of a sudden it just switched to me. And oh my gosh, it wasn't about me anymore. It was about the fact I had to get her over it. And I just everything switched in my mind. And I don't know how I did it. I think I almost probably kicked the guy coming up next to me because I was swinging my leg up and over. And I kind of rolled "Oops, I'm sorry." Didn't even realize it. I just was so determined to get over that wall because for her. So I realized and I got her over. She got climbed up and we got her over. But I realized by going back, kind of recapping that in the car ride on the way home, I realized something sitting on top of that wall, that something clicked in me where if I was doing it for myself, it didn't matter. I was ready to give up on myself. But when I heard her voice, there were two things. It was one, I had to be up there to get her over. Nothing was going to stop me. Mama Bear came in. I'm like, nothing was going to stop me from making sure she got over. But the other thing that I recognized was my role as a mom, and being, it was okay for her to see me struggle. And I think we kind of we grew up with boomer parents, or actually traditional parents, where they're they don't show you things. They don't tell you things. We try to share a lot with our kids, and just because I want them to know you're going to struggle. Life isn't always going to be easy. There are going to be hard times, but the thing is if you don't pick yourself back up and go, then life gets harder. And knowing that was my role as mom, to show that, okay, yes, I struggled. Yes, it was hard, but I pushed through. And I wanted that for my kids. And I think that was probably the reflection I had that made me sit there and think about the other obstacles and how they've impacted my thought on life with what I did in my mindset when I was on the course.
Definitely. That's a valuable lesson there too. And not just for you, but for your daughter too, because she's seen you as you got up there, you were about to struggle. She cheered you on, but you made the move to go over and also showed her that she can get over as well. So now
Yes.
she's not, of course, 12 years old. She's not afraid of anything yet, but so she'll still run through walls right now at 12 years old. And I'm sure she's the one that you do lacrosse with too. So you're the cheerleader there too. So you coach, you're still raising your daughter, your son, you're still raising him, even though he's in college, and then you do your obstacle courses. How do you maintain your health while doing all this?
Well, it's kind of, you have to fit it in. And what's nice is, I mean, you do. I mean, she's now 18 and a senior. And, and I traveled a lot. Well, until COVID, I traveled a lot. I used to put like 30,000 miles on my car every year, traveling around to see my clients.
Wow.
And I realized that you have to find time. Like, you can't make time. All of us are given the same 24/7. There's no, you have to figure out what you're doing in between. So for me, my health was always important. And so when my kids were at lacrosse practice, that's when I would go and I would do my run, or I would do a walk. I mean, you'd see me walking the fields, like circling the fields if I was doing that. Or I timed it perfectly that I could go do a run and come back and be there on time. There's only a couple times I was late, and believe me, my daughter chastised me for that. So I try not to do that again.
No way.
Exactly. But, it used to be, I used to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And so I actually do that again now. But when the kids were really young, I would get up and work out before the kids got up. So you have to kind of choose your place in life and understand that life is hard. And if you want to stay healthy, you have to do hard things, and you have to find a way to fit it in. And everybody's version of that is different. And my fit in has been different as I've gone through different phases in life. And now that the kids are, pretty much on their own, I don't have to shuttle them anywhere anymore. I have a little bit more flexibility. So it just means that which is nice. But when they were younger, you really it's work. And anybody who says it's easy I'm sorry, but they're blowing smoke. It's not.
It's not a cakewalk. No.
No, it's not, but it's so worth it. It really is. When you look and you see, I have the benefit. I'm very fortunate. I still have my father with me, and we still have Frank's father with us, and they're in their 80s. And I see the drag of time, but I also see other people who are in their 80s where they're holding up pretty good. So it's a choice that you make. You can decide to just not take care of yourself, or you can decide to take care of yourself and you'll enjoy a longer life, and you'll have more life in your life.
Definitely. You'll have more light too in your life. So you'll be smiling a little more. You'll be doing things like Betty White to 99 years old, almost 100 years old, just enjoying her life. And if you can enjoy and be happy, it's a lot easier to live and be happy.
It absolutely is. And it's not easy. I'll be the first one to tell you that it's work, but it's work that's worth doing. And when you do it, like if you get your hard workout in, you'd be like, oh, that's done. And now you can go and do other things. Like, I mean, I don't know. But a lot of people do struggle, and it is sometimes really hard to just find that pocket. And to find that pocket, it's best to start with why you want to, and figure out what your real true meaning is to you as to why you need to fight for your health. And once, kind of like why when I figured out that, oh my gosh, I got to get over this wall for my daughter, that's the why. Then you find this superhuman strength that you can that will give you that power you need. I mean, that's why I named my company Power Through Wellness. It's like, it's not only do you get your own power when you feel well, but you also, it's your power from inside that helps you be well.
Yeah, it's outstanding, and definitely you definitely have the power from inside out to be successful. If you can wake up in the morning, start stacking those victories, do the little things, look in the mirror and say, I will conquer this day, that comes from the inside out, and then it bounces back to you, and you have that good day.
It really does. But also, you know what, too? I will say one thing. You asked me if there's a couple lessons. I'm going to tell you there's another lesson. And there was one about fear I'm going to talk about, but I'm actually going to talk about this other one. Is that there is this obstacle, at least, well, there's a lot of obstacles, but there's one called the Pegatron. And you know those really cool things when people have the pegs and they just kind of like go for
yes.
I'm like, man, that looks so cool when people do that. That is hard. Holy cow, that is so incredibly hard. And I used to, like, when we first would fit, I would try to do it. Oh, goodness gracious. No, there is absolutely no way this lady is ever going to be able to do that. And it's not that, like, I mean, it's hard. Like, that is hard. It's realizing, though, I finally got to be okay with walking around it. Like, no, I'm going to try it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to conquer this someday. But honestly, I don't want to put in the effort to try to actually train for it, because I mean, you got to train all sorts of things, and that's a lot of time to train. I don't have that kind of time to train, nor do I have the desire. Being okay walking around a few things when you realize you're like, you know what, that's not something I need to be doing. Like, I was beating my head against the wall trying to get my website up, and then I realized, I'm like, oh, there's these little places called Fiverr and other things where I can hire someone to do that. Like, you know, I think I'm going to hire someone, because could I learn to do my website? Sure. Do I really have time, and do I really want to? Yeah, no. So, so it's kind of recognizing and being okay. And there's also things like that in life when you're working with teams. Could someone else be doing something where you do something else? So it's just recognizing that you don't have to do everything. I think my younger self felt like I always had to be an expert and just really do it. Maybe that's the benefit of getting older, that I realized, yeah, that's okay. Somebody else can do that. And it's not that you're giving, like, don't give up on hard things because they're hard. Just really understand there are some things that your time can be used better. And there are other people who are better at it than you are.
Save your energy for the things that you know you can do. And
yes,
don't
exactly.
Don't keep your arms in the L's so you can put pegs in the walls, because it's like you said, it does look very easy watching people who do it for fun, like on American Ninja Warrior and stuff. But, go ahead and try it, even if there's one that's not even on the ground, just maybe a foot off the ground. It hurts just to do it. It's not fun.
It's not. I mean, my husband even made a pegboard and all that kind of stuff, and we kept thinking we're going to put it up there. Yeah, no, it's not even up. It's not even up. I don't think either one of us really had the desire to really try to figure that one out.
We got a question. Right. We got a question from the audience, from Jake. He said he thinks it's amazing that y'all do this as a family. So what are your plans for after the obstacle courses become comfortable and you need or want a new challenge? Maybe mountain climbing?
Well, actually, it's funny that you asked that. So somebody introduced me to this 29029. So, of course, I signed up for the webinar to learn more about it. I think we're just going to, honestly, we're going to keep trying. So, like, this coming weekend is the Spartan Trifecta weekend. I've never done a Spartan Trifecta. So we're doing the Spartan Trifecta this weekend because we want that. We want to test ourselves. Of course, we want the medal. I'm all about the medals. Tell me about the bling. I want the bling. But, it was just one of those things that we just decided that we're going to keep doing it. Call us crazy, but it's so great because my son was really upset because he's in a fraternity up at his school, and he was worried that he had to do something this weekend. And now we finally figured out that he doesn't have to. So he's zipping his way down tomorrow so that we can head down and do it because it's in the Dallas area. So, but it's fun. It's, you're out there on the course, and because he's in college now, we're going to have like 2 full days of time to just talk with him and spend time with him. And it's just kind of a neat thing. My daughter's upset that she can't, but she tore her ACL playing lacrosse in the spring. So she's on injured reserve right now. So
don't rush back from that because it'll just get worse. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, she's working through it. She's following her PT like she should. So I think that anything that you can do, now you don't have to be crazy like us to do obstacle courses, but anything you can do with your kids especially as they get older. I think that was the one thing that helped us keep them close as teenagers, because we always found things to do as a family. And I'll tell you that one of the neatest things I think we benefited from with the fact that they were playing traveling lacrosse was there were many times we spent hours in the car, and we just developed a good talking bond with our kids. So sometimes I kind of miss those. I miss those sports trips because they were really, as crazy as they were and as frantic as we felt like when they are, if you're going through them with your kids, pause and enjoy them, because it's time that you miss later on.
And I'm sure in every one of those sports trips, every trip you forgot something at the house before you left.
Oh yeah, I can't tell you
halfway through. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we stop at Walmart almost every time.
Every time. So you have triples and quadruples of everything you need after a while, and you still forget them. So.
Oh, I tell you, the worst was when we went to one lacrosse trip where it was great, like 60 or actually 80-degree weather. And then by the time we got there, like this cold front moved in and we had to buy all new cold gear. And I'm like, okay, now my car is packed with a bin of cold gear whenever we would go off, because we had to buy all this stuff that we already had.
Right. On top of things.
Yeah, exactly. So to you traveling parents out there with sports kids, have a bin of clothes in your back of your car.
Be prepared to help other parents out.
Yes, exactly.
You talk about having plans and stuff like that. What is a strategic wellness plan, and how can other people incorporate one of those for themselves?
Oh, thanks for asking. This came together while I was getting my certification to become a certified health and wellness coach. And I'm sitting in these wonderful classes. Like I went back to school for a year to get this. And all this, my cohorts, in my class they're like nurses and personal trainers, physical trainers, and nutritionists, and all these people. And I'm sitting here going, I'm a financial planner. What am I doing here? And so as we were sitting there going through things, one thing that I found was really interesting, and I would run into other health coaches. So I would start picking their brain, like, what are you doing? And what I noticed was that almost everyone I talked to was selling a product. Now, it's not a bad thing, but I also got to thinking like, well, you know what? What if that's not a good product for somebody? What if that's not the right fit? So I pulled back into my financial planner side, where what we would do is we would find the best fit for someone on the financial side. And I thought, okay, well, wait a minute. Why can't we do this on the wellness side? Instead, let's take a strategic approach, figure out what's going on in your life. So this is something you can think about yourself is one, start with, I call it CAP, put a cap on it, get clear about what you want, be aware of where you are, and then plan to bridge the gap. So be clear about where you want to go with your health. Understand what that means to you. Then be aware of where you're starting from and be okay with it, because sometimes you might be starting at a lower spot than you think you are, but be aware of where you're at, whether that's nutrition, your exercise, your stress, whatever the case may be, and then make a plan to bridge it. So it's really kind of using that whole planning philosophy that we did on the financial side and applying it to the wellness side. And then creating some filters to more discerning with your spending. If I could tell you guys, do one thing, never buy anything when you hear the product push. Give yourself a night to sleep on it, and really think about how it might fit in your life. And if it really will fit in your life and it's something you want, most likely that sale item will be there the next day. A lot of them really. I mean, and if they're pushing you to buy that night, don't buy. I know a lot of people are going to hate me for saying that, but I come at it from a financial protection, and I can't tell you how many times I've probably spent money that I shouldn't have spent. And I kick myself because you go to sleep and you're like, did I really need that? Or am I really going to do that course? Do you know that only 7% of people actually finish a course that they purchase?
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Yes. And you think of all that money that you're wasting. So I help people create that filter. Like, let's just take a step back and see if this is really something that's going to fit in your life. And you're going to take action on.
Yes, I think most people will finish a course when someone else is paying for it for them because they feel obligated to that person or that entity. But if they're
Yeah.
paying for it themselves, it's my money. I can, or just like joining a gym. Every January, they join a gym and never go after the third week.
Yep.
And then the next January, they keep doing it because it's their money. Oh, I know it's there. I'll go sometime, but they never go.
Right. We do it all the time. It's like you commit before you're really ready to commit.
Right. And then you're out. So,
yeah.
Jake said, outstanding. Best of luck to y'all. Hope your daughter has a speedy recovery.
Thank you so much, Jake. I appreciate that. She's doing good.
Good. See, Jake should listen to his PT too, so he doesn't keep hurting himself. So it'd be great.
All right.
So Kelly, if you can give the audience maybe three strategies so they can stay on top of their own life obstacles, what would that be?
You know, when something happens, take a pause, take a breath, really kind of understand that it's our reaction to the situation that usually stresses you out and can also maybe lead to sometimes not good decisions or bad decisions or whatever the case may be. So when something happens that's out of your control, take a breath, take a pause, kind of like what we dealt with this technology this morning. Okay, this evening, right? Because it's going to happen. We're all life never goes the way that we want it to go. When you're planning your health, really do create a filter for yourself. You know, ask yourself a few questions. Are you really going to use this? Will this fit into my life? Am I ready to commit to whatever this product or service or thing is? And then, you know, if your answers are yes, then by all means move forward. But if you falter in any way, then take a real step to see what it is, what's intriguing with you about it, and see where you need to actually fit in and where you're really going to use it so you can save yourself some money in that respect. And I think the last time, you know what? Life is fun. Don't be grumpy.
Nice. That's a real good one. Had to write that down.
It really is. Learn to laugh. A lot of people, like my husband, we've been together for over 30 years and we laugh a lot. It's not that we haven't had some bumps. We've had some bumps, some big bumps, but in the end, we enjoy each other and we laugh a lot.
That's the best thing to do. Laughter is the cure of all evil, they say. So it makes you, if you smile, it helps. It doesn't take much to smile. You can smile and make somebody's day.
It doesn't. And do you know it'll actually add years to your life by keeping a happy attitude?
I try to make jokes out of everything, so hopefully my life's going to go on as long as it wants me to.
Well, I maybe your wife can relate to this one. I always joke. Everyone was like, when we had 2 kids, they were like, "Are you going to have more?" I'm like, "Nope, I've got 3, and one will never leave home."
Yeah, she says this stuff about me too. Yes, the big kid.
The big kid. Yep.
Yes. So Kelly, what's the best way for someone to get in contact with you to either become you to coach them, get your book, or maybe just follow your journey?
Oh, absolutely. So they can reach me at kellymajdan.com. It's Kelly with a Y. I'm very simple. And then Majdan, think of Major Dan.com. And all the information is out there. And we'll be launching we're going to have the first pilot group to go through. I've been doing the wellness planning on individual basis. So I'm going to do a first pilot group launching in a couple weeks. So I've been working on the offer page. So look for that. If you're interested, you can go on my website and sign up, and I will make sure that you get the information on that.
Awesome.
And if you say you were on the show, you'll get a 20% discount.
Awesome. Get that 20% discount, MisFitNation. Get on there and get your wellness plan and move forward in life and be happy. Smile. Life is fun. Don't be grumpy. Remember that. So it's written down in my remarkable right here. I'm looking right down at it. It's good. Kelly, this has been great. Even with our technical hiccups on both sides, this has been a great chat. Had a good time talking to you. The audience was actually involved, so it was good. Thanks for coming on, and thanks again for being flexible and coming on tonight instead of next week.
Oh, absolutely. I wish you and your family all the best, and thank you for having me.
Thank you, and have a good night.
Yeah, good night.
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. That's themisfitnation.com. Check out all of our past episodes and get some of that great Misfit Nation gear. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling, because we are Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation.